I strongly disagree with your take that Turtles Forever turned the 87 Turtles into whiny babies. However, this does give me the opportunity to finally expand on something I've been meaning to talk about in Turtles Forever. Because when you say that they were turned into whiny babies, it really makes me think that the only scene that you remember from Turtles Forever is this one.
Look out! Yeah, okay, it's okay. You can let go now, let go.
However, it is important to remember that in that context, that scene serves as a full circle moment for 2003 Raphael's character arc. He spent the entirety of Turtles Forever bullying the 87 Turtles because he couldn't see a version of himself that would ever act the way that they do. And like I said, context is key. The 2003 version of the Turtles, specifically this version of Raphael, were written in 2003 in real time. Now, this is information, not affirmation. In the early to mid 2000s, stuff was a little bit better than it was in the 90s, but sadly, a lot of the more what people would deem toxic things about how characters were written back then still carried over into the 2000s. For example, insult humor, which is primarily the baseline humor that Raphael goes for. This version of Raphael was written in the voice of a young adult man that is sadly representing the lowest common denominator of what was seen as a tough guy in the early 2000s. Even as late as into the third act of the film, Raph is attempting to get the 1984 Mirage Comics Turtles to join him in ridiculing the 1987 Turtles for being objectively more different than the other two groups. This is a common motif that's used in storytelling that's rooted in ageism, where somebody from a younger generation is trying to find themselves relatable to somebody of an older generation, gain some respect or general acknowledgement from them by othering another group that's objectively more different. Now, there have been a lot of jabs taken at the 87 Turtles recently in Turtle media. When I say recently, I mean within the last 15 years of the 39-year history. Me personally, I see this as a commentary to the older generation of fans that, hey, it's okay to acknowledge that your mind's eye version of the Turtles aren't perfect. They can be and are allowed to be perfect to you. However, you need to be mature enough to understand that time moves on and tastes change. So what can be seen as a timeless classic to you can easily be seen as an unrelatable relic to somebody else. However, despite how often the 87 Turtles are made fun of in Turtles Forever, it actually does serve the narrative of the film. The 87 Turtles are the unsung heroes of Turtles Forever. They drive the plot forward by not overcomplicating the mission at hand. The Shredder's being evil, let's go stop the Shredder. The 87 Turtles did that flawlessly for 9 years, and as far as they're concerned, it doesn't matter what version of the Shredder it is. They're the good guys, and they will find a way. When we're first introduced to them in the film, they're quite literally hanging out and they're relatively unbothered. They're not whining. Let's not forget that towards the end of the first act of the film, when the Turtles all go confront 87 Shredder at the Technodrome, it's the 87 Turtles that waste no time running into the fight. And rightfully so, these are their villains, so they should be the best equipped to know how to take them down. And even I, as somebody who openly admits with 2003 being my favorite series, the 87 Turtles are being better ninjas in this fight sequence. They're using their environment inside the underground tunnel to take down bigger threats like Rocksteady and a drove of footbots. 87 Donnie is my frontrunner for the most valuable turtle out of the main 8. With access to 2003 Donnie's tech, he wasted no time building the transdimensional portal stick. Need I remind you, saved the 8 of them twice. The second time around, also subtly forcing 2003 Donnie to take a page out of 87 Donnie's book in terms of being a little more unconventional with finding a solution to the problem at hand. But 87 Donnie said it best, so let's quote him.
Science isn't all about facts, you know.
The 87 Turtles don't even bother to call out the '03 or the 1984 Turtles for how they treated them throughout the film. And to be honest, it's simply because I believe they don't care. Would it have helped for their character development and for the narrative of the overall film for them to have had a scene where they stand up to at least 2003 Raph? Perhaps. Does it hinder Turtles Forever in any way by not including a scene like this? Absolutely not. The 87 Turtles are unbothered by how they were treated because they love themselves and love being themselves unapologetically. It's that attitude that not only helps them get the job done, but it helps show their variance that there's more than one way to be a good Ninja Turtle. As a matter of fact, there is a multitude of ways. See what I did there? And the 87 Turtles have proved this since their inception. Their depiction of what a Ninja Turtle is nowhere close to the dark, violent, and gritty source material that the original comics are based on. But they know who they are and who they want to be, which is something every cartoon version of the Ninja Turtles has respectfully done. And it just goes to show, it's not what you're called, it's what you answer to. If you're a fan of the Turtleverse, so I mean any version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I hope that this video struck a chord with you, and I hope that moving forward, we can all find ways to respectfully nod and appreciate other versions that aren't exactly our favorites, but we can still learn something from. Across the Turtleverse, Shellheads are stronger united than they are apart. So I have to ask you, can I be your TMNT guy?